Hey everyone, how's it going? How's your weekend been?
It's great.
Great, yeah. It's pretty warm out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we have a pool. It's
Oh,
nice.
awesome. Yeah, it's pretty nice to jump in that pool. Anyway, I was just wondering, has anybody ever seen anything kind of going on like with this ever? Did you ever put that in a place of where you might see it?
No.
No, eh? Well, maybe if I added something else, maybe a switch.
Yeah, I know what a light switch is.
All right. Well, what's that?
A receptacle.
Receptacle. All right. Well, what would this be?
Light.
Yeah. Right on. So where might you have seen these things?
In my house.
Perfect. Yeah, that's right. At home. Oh. Today, everyone, we're going to look at a simple circuit. So this would be something you'd find obviously in your home. We're going to work on your. We've got some work boards that we're going to work on. First, I have some worksheets that we're going to work on through this work booklet. So I'm going to pass these out, and we're going to use these for test purposes, and it'll get you prepped up for even when the final exam comes. So, just wondering if everybody can turn to page number 5 in your workbook. Basically, this is what we're going to do today, everyone. So, this is your circuit box, your main panel. It should be our power source over here. It's going to be our main panel. And we're going to hook up an outlet, receptacle, a switch, and a light. And yeah, we're going to go from there. So I'll get started with that.
Cool.
I'll give you a slight demonstration here. We brought in the wires. Here's our power source. And here's our outgoing circuit. And we have it nice and strapped up. So when you get to your work boards, we'll end up strapping it. So it just holds the wire nice and straight. And you also want to look for, keep in mind, just aesthetics. What's aesthetics? Just what looks pleasing to the eye. So keep nice forming lines, stuff like that. So we're just gonna hammer in this strap. And it straddles the wire there, so it doesn't actually pinch it. It just holds it nice and tight. You guys will be doing this today on your work boards.
What if I hit my thumb?
Well, you want to keep your fingers clear of that kind of thing. So we hold off to the side. Nice small little taps to kind of get it started. Same like that. Also too, if you want, you can also use a set of pliers to get it started so you don't have your fingers in there.
Ah, that's better.
Nice, right?
I always hit my thumb.
There you go. So you just start off with a nice set of pliers, and you can get rid of them and finish off what you need. So kind of looks nice. I'm just gonna doctor it up here.
Why is there that hangy thing flopping around there? That extra piece.
It's just for this. It's not really for this lesson. It was just.
All right.
What would happen usually would be all nice, just straight like that. But we're going to use it potentially in another lesson later on. So for now, we're just going to have it nice and zip tied up for aesthetic purposes for the lesson. I just really wanted everyone to see the strapping and how to do it, and if you needed to use a pair of pliers, you can.
So what are you doing there? You're just taking it and twisting it, and you're able to pull it off?
Sorry everyone. Yeah, that's right. So when I took my tip of pliers, just took it right up to the piece, made it nice, and it gives it a nice flush cut so you don't end up cutting yourself.
Huh.
Usually people in industry, sometimes they just cut it off with their side cutter diagonal pliers, and I'll have a set I can show you. And sometimes when you're reaching around, you end up getting nice, looks like you got in a fight with a cat. So this just keeps it nice and flush. There is also another set of cutters you could get in industry right here. They're just sort of on an angle and they just cut. They're called flush cutters that just cut it off flush, but you don't necessarily need to have these. You can have your set of linesman pliers or any set of pliers. You just kind of go up nice and twist it off. So here's our incoming power source. We want to, I'm gonna leave that unhooked up right now. We're gonna go and to our outgoing 14-2 wire. We're gonna hook up the ground wire, which is the spare wire right here. We're gonna put it right onto the box. So we're gonna go reach into the back.
That looks cool.
Bend it around. I'm gonna use a set of our wire strippers here. We're just gonna use them just as clear pliers to bend in there. And bend the wire up and around. Now that's pretty important because it goes with the screw when you tighten up the box, so it makes it and it compresses it nice and tight, which is always important because you want a nice tight bond to the box because that's your ground. So right here is our receptacle, and that's what we're going to be powering up right here. So this green screw right here is our bond wire. Now usually we'd have these marretted together with another wire, but for this purpose we're just going to have it on here because we're bonded to the box. So we'll tuck that back in there for this time.
Wait, what is bonding to the box again?
Going to the ground.
Oh,
So
okay.
earth ground. So you'll be bonded or grounded to.
Okay. Okay.
So we're taking the green wire here, which would be marretted together, which is.
What's Moret?
I don't have one right here. I will get you.
Okay. We're gonna.
But it tightens all the wires together. It
Okay.
looks like a little cap.
Normally you have those stuffed all in your pants all the time.
Yeah, I do. But anyway, for this purpose, this is a green Robbie. There's two different kinds on the screwdriver. There's a red. Excuse me, can you go take your desk, please? Which is a number 2 Robertson. Okay. That's giving me a good time. So there's a number 2, and there's a number 1. So that you can see the difference in the size. So we're going with a green Robbie, which is a number 1, and a red Robbie, which is number 2, and that's usually just coordinating with the colors that are on the screwdriver. So number 1, green. That's what we're going to use. So we just fastened the ground wire or the bond to the receptacle. We have our 2 white wires and our 2 black wires. They're both go on each side of the receptacle here. So our white wires go on these shiny side of the receptacle, which would be your neutral side. This one right here, I'm just going to take this end, strip a little bit more of the wire. And there's different numbers on your handles here of your wire strippers. We're going to go with a 14 gauge. And there's a couple holes in here, so set it through the wire. And we'll just sort of bend it around.
How do we know to use a 14 gauge?
Well, there's different numbers on the wire here. Right here it says 14/2, which would be a 14 gauge, and it's a 2 wire because there's only 2 conductors. You don't include the ground on this. So there's 1 wire, 2 wire. So that's the size of the copper conductor is 14 gauge. Is that it?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Perfect. So same thing here, we're gonna hook the little hook towards so it tightens itself in just like this on our neutral side. A little rusty. So then we're going to flip it around, and this is called your hot. So you always want to leave that till the last to put on. So, and they go on these brass screws right here.
Is the hot wire always black?
No, it can also be red, but generally it is black. There's or red. Now, when we get into if we do get into 3-phase systems, then it's red, black, and blue. So you can have potentially different colors, but for your home wiring, generally it's black or red.
All right.
There is white that can be as a hot, but we'll get into that later on, so don't really worry about that for the time being. So we're going to bend that down, that wire. We're bending it this way. Actually, let's take that up. It's opposite. Yeah, so we're bending it up so that it tightens itself. It bends into itself. And you just sort of fold those nice wires back in there, and there's these 2 little screws tabs right in the middle, which is where those 2 screws go into. So keep in mind some of the terminology we're using, because we're gonna end up labeling it later on. So like the black would be your, what would we call this? The hot?
Hot.
And what about the white one? Would be your
Neutral.
Yeah. And how about this bare one?
Ground.
Perfect. So yeah, keep those in mind, and we'll have to write down stuff later on, please. So that's nice and tight for now. Over here would be your switch. So we're going to strip some wire here. You're going to take your X-Acto knife and just place it just in between the wire here. There's your 2 conductors is where you're going to end up putting your blade. And you're going to be careful not to nick your wire. And this sheathing out here, you're just going to take right off with your X-Acto knife. Set of wires.
How do you do that without cutting the wire?
Very carefully. You just take some practice, but yeah, you hold the wires away and you pull the sheathing down and just sort of, so just take some practice. we got 2 screws in the back here, which are called our ground or bonding screws. So we're gonna go and take this and our ground wire and put it around in the box here. You're gonna want to make sure all your components inside the box are tight for your wires and stuff, and the screws. You're going to take the other wire and put a little hook on it.
Why do you make a hook on it?
Well, just so it can tighten down to the, just makes a connection for the screw.
Can't you do that after?
It's a lot harder to do it after, so it's just generally easier to put it on, do it first, and then you tighten up your switch. Anyway, everyone, we had struck those wires, and this here is a Marette. So as you can see, there's different kinds, different styles, different sizes, and it all depends on how many wires and the size of wire that you're using. So this one, black one here, says number 18 to number 8. So that's a little bit, we could use it here, but we don't need to. We'll just go stick with this nice beige one right here because we're only using the 2 wires. It's nice and tight in there. Put it on. Look at our switch. There's the top. It says it right there as well. So the way I look at it is the top one coming in, you want to have it on the top side because it's leaving. So there's 2 little grooves right there. We can set the wire in. Bottom wire, boom, couple twists, done. Just sort of bend them into the box there, make it nice and, I didn't realize this one doesn't have screws. We're going to head over to the light here. We're going to pull out those wires, put our ground wire around the screw, tighten it up. Into itself. Tuck it back. Tighten that up a bit. Perfect. So we're going to use our black and our white. Once again, our brass goes with our black. The silver one goes with our white one. Back to a green Robbie, number 1. So the little tiny one. Tighten it up. Black wire. Around so it tightens up around itself. Wires. big holes. Put his heads through there. Tighten that up. Okay, don't want to do that. So what you not want to do, anyway, we'll carry on with the lesson for now. We got that all screwed in. Let's go and take our power source here. We're going to plug it in, tie it in. It's tied into our main panel here, imaginary. So let's go try our switch. Oh wow, it works. All right, now let's see. We got the power coming in through the receptacle. Let's see. Oh, charging, perfect. And we got our switch that works. So I think that's a great success. Good job, everyone. I want you to take care and try to do it just like the way we have here. And we'll have it all labeled with your post-it notes that I'll pass out after. Any questions?
And covering.
All right.